Love on the Spectrum USA Season 2 has arrived, and I have thoughts. Hi friends, my name is Claire, and this is my channel, Woodshed Theory. Here, I make content about what it is like to live as an adult on the autism spectrum. That's right, I'm autistic, and anything else that feels good to me. So if that sounds good to you, or if you're feeling particularly gracious today, and I hope that you are, please go ahead and click the subscribe button, ring the bell. I almost forgot to mention that I put out videos a few times a week, so click the like and the share. Here's the deal. This is, I believe, my third time reacting to a season of Love on the Spectrum. I'm losing light, so let's chat. Let's chat about this show. It's a show about autistic people dating and trying to find love. It was very popular in Australia. They brought it to America via Netflix. A lot of people who are watching this right now, a lot of people I know, have very strong opinions on this show. And I tend to agree with a lot of them. First of all, if the participants are still not being paid, I want to just call that out. This is not a documentary. This is more of a reality show. So the idea that the participants don't need to be paid, just reimbursed for their costs or whatever, that is not cool. So if you are in the show, if you're a cast member, in the comments, please let us know. Are they paying you? If not, they should be paying you. The next thing people say is that this show exploits autistic people, or there will be people who view autism as cute or a gimmick, or, oh, how sweet, the autistic people trying to find love, how cute. I don't view it that way, but I know that there will be people who view it that way, and autism is a real condition, and we all have different support needs, and we're all different people, and our lives are serious to us. We want to find love and be in relationships. Well, not all of us, because we're all different. But I just want to make sure that when I watch this, I think about taking autistic people seriously. Autistic people aren't for your entertainment, you know what I mean? I have written notes for each participant, what I thought, what happened in the episode, and here we go. First of all, we start off with Connor. He's 24, he's from Georgia. What an eloquent guy. And he's very thoughtful with the things that he says. Already I can see he's a very poetic person. He says he's been single for his whole life. As far as special interest goes, they immediately show him giving a tour of his room, which is something they do with almost everybody on the show. And I don't know if that's necessarily the show's plan, but if you want to get to know a person with autism, if you want to know more about their special interest, having them show you around their room is great. We love to talk about our special interests, and our rooms are usually where we can display our collections or information or pictures of things that we like. He's interested in swords, collects swords, which I thought was really super cool. As far as special interests go, I think that's a really neat one. Then they shift to him sitting with his family and talking about what he was going to talk about on his first date. He's saying, maybe I could ask them about the Greeks or the Vikings, or how did democracy get started? And his family is saying, basically, don't do that. You'll put them to sleep. Maybe wait till the second date. Then he comes with a better question. Do you like pets? Which everyone agrees is a good question, because he has several dogs that he loves, and if a person isn't on board with pets, it wouldn't be a good fit for him. I wrote down that his mother seemed sincere and kind. I really liked that about her. The next time we see him, he's with his sister Anna. She was doing an awesome job supporting him by helping him get ready for his speed dating. Something I really liked that they showed is that Connor took a minute before he left for the speed dating, and he went outside by himself, and he took a few deep breaths, and he did some stretching, it looked like. And they didn't really go over what this was, but I, as an autistic person, know that he was regulating himself before he went out and did this, and kind of centering himself, taking care of his sensory needs. I thought that was a great thing to show. Autistic people do need time to regulate before they do things. And I thought it was really wise of him to know that maybe that was a good thing to do before he went out and went on his first ever date. So we get to the date, And he is at an autism organization run speed dating, which I thought was such a cool idea because we struggle to communicate as autistic people. It can be very difficult for us to communicate with others, and it can also be very hard to date. So the idea that a organization came together and made a speed dating opportunity for autistic people or neurodivergent people, I think that that was awesome, and that you could go to that and feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that you're more on the same page with other people. So the lady announces that they're all going to get 5 minutes per each date, and that the girls are going to move around to other tables. I thought that in general, Connor did a great job on his dates, other than his one big snafu in the first episode. I'll talk about that in a minute. His first speed dating that they have on this episode, he does a great job. Connor, you did a great job asking questions. I thought that both with the first and second girls that you were talking to, they were really struggling themselves to ask any questions or answer any questions. It seemed like they were really nervous. Even when there was an awkward silence, you came up with more questions to ask. And I just want to say, good on you. Obviously, if you've seen this, there was one big thing that he was doing that was a total no-no on a speed date. And my heart just went out for Connor. And I'll tell you why. So they give you a piece of paper. You can mark yes or no, and then comments about why you're marking yes or no to see if you'll match with other people. And instead of waiting until the girl walked away from the table, while he was still talking to these girls, he marked with a big X, no, and then like wrote, for the second girl at least, wrote a note like doesn't like nature, while he was in front of them, while they were watching him write it. And I'm sure that that made the girl feel so awkward and kind of rejected, right? But I want to shout out to whoever was filming and broke the fourth wall to help out Connor, because it's a great example about how social scripts, social expectations, social rules are not always apparent to people who are on the autism spectrum. Nobody told him, don't do that. Nobody told him, wait until they walk away from the table so they don't read it. They just told him, mark down, make a decision, mark down if you want to see these people again, and then do that, and then on to the next date, right? They didn't say when to do it or when it would be polite to do it. And I am so grateful for that person who helped him in that moment so that he could not do that for the remaining speed dates that he was going to be on. I'm happy that they showed that, even though it was really awkward and I just kind of died inside a little bit. I felt so bad because I know that he wasn't trying to be rude. He was just doing what they told them to do. I just felt bad for the girls who were like, oh, okay, it's a no, all right. And then he's like, nice to meet you. And they're like, nice to meet you too, I guess, bye. But in general, good job, Connor. Good job on your dates. I'm sure that in the next episode, they'll show more of the speed dating. I hope it goes well for you. Then we go to Danny. Danny's back. She's 28. She is from Pasadena, California. Danny was one of my favorite participants from last season. I think she's super cool. I've messaged her on Instagram. She's messaged me back. She owns her own company. She's very driven. She has a master's degree, so do I. So we have that in common. They asked Danny what she learned since starting dating. She said she's learned a lot of lessons, including to get to know a person before you start getting physical with them, start kissing them. Let them show their character and, let you show your character to a person before you take it to the next level. I think that's very wise. I think in the last season, she kissed a guy on the first date, which I've done. Okay, Danny? I've been there. Feel that attraction. You feel like it's going well. And before you know it, you don't even know if you're a good fit. So I thought that was great that she had learned that. She's about to go on a date at this point, and I have to say, just like last season, Danny, you have impeccable style. You always look amazing. You always look well-dressed. You always look good. So way to go, Danny. I need some fashion help from you. How did her date go? Well, I have to tell you, I thought that they matched her up with someone really great. His name was Matt. He's a little bit older than her, 37. She's 28. First of all, this is the first time that they're introducing like a single person coming in on a date. And I just want to comment that the show still has not gotten away from doing the kind of infantilizing, like, this is Matt. Matt likes this. Matt doesn't like this. I don't know how I feel about that. Couldn't there be another way to introduce a person and not make it seem like, it just feels very nursery school to me. I thought Matt would be a great fit for Danny. He liked going to Comic-Con. He goes every year. She loves going to Comic-Con. He loves animation. He is into anime. He's into Pokemon. He is into all the things that she is into. So in that way, I thought that they would be a great fit. I even wrote, seems to be a good fit. Then he said he works for a trading card company, which I'm assuming is some sort of nerdy trading card company. A perfect job. He's got a job. He has a college degree. He loves Comic-Con. He loves animation. I'm like, okay, Danny, here it is. Silver platter. And here's where I guess Danny would disagree with me. She seemed immediately off-put by the fact that he did not work in animation. She also seemed off-put by the fact that he lived too far away. They were about 2.5 hours apart. He'd never been on a blind date. I thought he did a great job. He tried to keep up the conversation as much as he could. I didn't think he was creepy. I thought he dressed nice. They're having drinks, watching the ocean, watching the sunset. Obviously I'm not Danny and I'm not here to judge her. Here's what I would hope for her: to keep an open mind. The person that you're dating might be 2.5 hours away from you. The person that you're dating might not be exactly into animation, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't be involved in the business that you're dreaming of. For example, like a business needs an accountant. Not that he's an accountant, but do you know what I mean? Like a business needs a lot of different roles to fill that role. Maybe in the future, there's a trading card division of your animation business. You don't know that. So all I'm saying is, instead of immediately shutting someone down because they don't tick every single box. That's just the sense that I got. But maybe, I don't know what she was thinking. Maybe she wasn't attracted to him. Maybe it wasn't the right age for her. It just seemed that when, at the end of the date, he was like, hey, let's do this again. She's like, maybe, and kind of just left. If she goes on another date with him, I would be very, very surprised. I did not get that vibe at all. I just hope that she can open her scope just a little. Just because somebody isn't completely where you are doesn't mean they can't be a part of what you're doing. Or he loves animation. Who's to say he wouldn't want to be working at the animation company with you and help you build that dream out in just another way or a different way? Also, it seemed like she shut down when he was saying that after he got his college degree, he was kind of lazy for a while and was a chauffeur, and like now he works for the trading company. But as soon as she heard the word lazy, I think she shut down a little bit with that as well. And he was just talking about another point in his life. It's very rare that you're going to meet somebody who checks every single thing that you're looking for, especially when you have very specific things that you're looking for. So I would hope that, I know it's hard because autistic people were very stringent, isn't the word I'm looking for, but black and white thinking, it's really hard for us to like move outside of what we like. It's hard for us to see past the boundaries that we've put on things. Maybe that's a good way to put it. I felt like Matt could have potentially been a good choice. So hopefully they go out on another date, but from the way she was talking, it seems like it's a no. It didn't seem like she was into him whatsoever after he said that he wasn't sure how that his trading card experience would translate to animation. Next, we're going to talk about James. James is a great guy. He's from Boston, Massachusetts, or right outside. He has been on the show before, and he seems like a really nice person. He posts on his Instagram a lot. He seems like a super thoughtful person. The first note I wrote is, I'm on Team James. James, I want you to find happiness. I think you deserve it. You seem like a great guy. Here's my note. Good sense of humor times 10. I wanted to talk about this because a lot of times people think that autistic people can't have a sense of humor. James is funny. Okay, James, you're a funny guy. You have an amazing sense of humor. Your comedic timing, really good. Your jokes, super funny. And I know from his Instagram that he's also like a social justice warrior. He's got good morals. He's the full package. Ladies, if you watch this and you think you might be a good fit for James, reach out to James, because I feel like it's a no-brainer. James is a catch. He says he's been to 20 or 30 speed dating events and has no matches. And he doesn't know if maybe they're just not telling him, or if he really doesn't have any matches. He doesn't think that's statistically possible. He says he's on 6 different dating sites. I don't know, James. I just know that you're going to find your person. He does sit down at this point and talk to his family about what he's looking for. And what I thought was really funny is that while he's sitting there in his living room, he's got no socks on. And his mom calls him out on it and is like, aren't your feet cold? I'm wearing socks right now, but usually I'm not. Unless my feet are super cold, I'm also a barefoot autistic person. So sensory needs come first. And most of the time, a lot of autistic people like to be barefoot. So I'm happy that they mentioned that. The only other thing that happens with James in this episode is that he hangs out with some of his friends, including Emma, who he went on a date with in the last season. And they're all talking about how he's going to be going on another date soon. He's like, Emma, I hope this isn't awkward because, we tried to go on a few dates. It didn't work out. She said, no, I'm really happy for you. I hope it works out for you. We're all cheering you on, basically. So yeah, I am also cheering James on. Finally, Abby. Abby is 24. And I didn't write down where she lives, so I'm sorry for that. But I really like Abby as well, because Abby and I have something big in common, and that is we both have hat businesses. Mine started after hers, so I guess you could say I'm a copycat. But we have different ways that we make the hats, so we both like fiber arts, and we both sell hats. So we've got that in common. So obviously I think she's a pretty cool person. She said that she's learning to manage her condition better and better as time goes on. And that is just so cool. Following her on social media, I've been able to see her get to do some amazing things this past year. They ask her about what love is and how she found it. And she talks about her boyfriend, David. They met on the show last year. It's been a great success. They've been dating for almost 2 years now. They're always posting about their dates on Instagram. They seem like a really cute and happy couple, and I'm happy for them. I think they seem well matched. He obviously really cares about her, and she really cares about him. And you know what? I might get emotional if I talk about this, but it can be difficult to find somebody when you're on the autism spectrum. I feel very grateful to have found someone, and they seem happy and they seem supportive of one another, and good for them. Only other thing that happens in this episode is pretty big, and that is David shows up with a poster board, and he shows up because he's got a surprise coming for Abby. What is the surprise? I thought maybe it was going to be Disney, because I think they've been to Disney together before. I'm not sure. I know I follow her loosely on Instagram. So I thought because they both love Disney movies, it was going to be Disney. It was even bigger than that. So spoilers, he's taking Abby and his mom and her mom and his sister. They're all going on a trip to Africa. This is Abby's dream. Her dream is to go to Africa and see the lions there. Both of them, their favorite animal is lions. I loved that they filmed this because he did a great job telling her and surprising her. Christine, Abby's mom, makes the good point of it might take her a minute to like let it fully sink in, and it totally does. And I really loved that they showed this, because delayed processing is something that I struggle with as well. It's a big deal in the autism community. Basically, he tells her, like, I'm taking you to Kenya. And she's like, oh, that's so sweet. Thanks. Gives him a kiss. She is interpreting that he's saying, we're going to go to Kenya together. But she's not thinking we're going to Kenya. She's like, oh yeah, one day. Like, even after the fact, she's like, yeah, he's going to take me to Kenya. Maybe one day after ... like whatever. Christine's like, no, Abby, the ticket is booked. You're going to Kenya. It's happening. And again, Abby's just like shocked, you know? I'm so happy that they showed that, because it does take people with autism a little longer sometimes to like fully wrap their mind that this is going to happen. And obviously she's super excited, but that's a lot to sink in, that your dream trip is going to happen. I hope they show it on this season. I've only watched one episode so far, so I'm excited to see what happens. That's it. That was the whole first episode. What did you think of the first episode? What did you think of everyone we saw? We saw 3 people we've already seen from last season, and then Connor, who I think did a great job. I think he's gonna have a positive experience with the dating thing. Did you like this first episode? I can't wait to watch the rest of them and talk to you about them. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.